Hi, I'm Carolyn, a middle-aged single mom who built a 1,200 square foot energy-efficient straw bale house for $50,000 in the year 2000. That cost doesn't include the land. My electric bills are about $35 per month. I was working full-time, so I did this on evenings and weekends. This is really hard work all year round in all kinds of weather. My house took 2,000 hours or 258 hour days. It took me a year and a half to get my occupancy permit, then another 4 years to complete the finished work. I shopped for materials on my lunch hours, worked evenings and weekends while I lived on the land. If you want to do this, you've got to be in good shape, be willing to work real hard, check the building codes in your area and on your land to find out what is allowed before you begin, get a consultant who will work by the hour, a builder who can guide you through the building codes and inspections and help you find workers. Study natural building, learn the difference between thermal mass and insulation, learn about passive solar design, and whatever you do, keep it as simple as you can. It will cost more and be way more work than you think. You can always upgrade and expand later. I can't tell you everything I learned, but I'm going to give you an overview of how it all got put together. Decide what you want to build and then get someone to draw it up to code. In Tucson, we have a code for load-bearing straw bale houses where the roof rests right on the straw. The house has to be a rectangle. I was given this floor plan by Bill Steen and Wayne Bingham after being convinced to build small, and I'm very thankful I did. Here's my building site at the beginning. If you don't want to spend all your money on the foundation, you need to find a level building lot and make sure you aren't in any floodplains. After the land is scraped, you mark where the foundation will go, run level strings out to batter boards, and dig out the footers. Get a good book on foundations. I built these foundations for the concrete footers that go into the ground, and then later learned that our ground is so hard you can pour right into the dirt trench. I did my own rough and plumbing, though I don't have any good pictures of it. You can see the plumbing pipe sticking above ground. Get a good book on plumbing, and preferably hire this part out to a plumber. Here's a close-up of the rebar inside the trench. There are strict rules on this, and you might want to hire this out. After we poured concrete in the footers, I had to build a stem wall to raise the walls off the ground. This is a good idea to keep the bales dry, even if it's not required. Here are the beautiful straw bales stacked by a special truck called a bale squeeze, ready for the big party to raise the walls. Gather 30 to 50 people. You can put notices in health food stores and hire a straw bale builder to organize them into wall teams for the day. We slid the bales down the stack. Don't throw them or they'll break. This is Mott's and me stringing baling twine through a bale to divide it into two smaller bales. You'll need to do this to fit around the doors and windows. Here's me with the first bale. The long metal rod is all thread, which screws to J-bolts in the top of the stem wall and then goes all the way up through the bales to the roof plate. The group of volunteers is raising a heavy bale in place over the all thread. Then we pound rebar down from the top to stabilize the wall. There's other ways to do this depending on what your codes are. Be sure your corners are straight of your house. Here's the house taking shape at the end of a long day of wall raising. The last bale is going into place. A box beam goes over the top of the bales. This is stuffed with straw. In some places you can simply do a horizontal ladder. Codes differ everywhere. I hired a crew to put up the trusses. Make sure they are straight. You can have crooked straw bale walls, but you can't put a roof on crooked trusses. After the trusses are on, we sheathe the roof. If you don't have a loft in your house, you won't have to put such a steep roof, and this will be much easier. Metal roofing is lightweight and clean and for collecting rainwater, and it's also inexpensive. Then there's a lot of work framing in the windows and doors and weather protecting the bale joints here before our summer thunderstorms arrived. You don't want water to get into the interior of your bales. Randy camped in the house and built the porch here. The large wooden beams were much too heavy for me. John and a carpenter built most of the loft and the spiral staircase from a kit. We made grooves with the back of a hammer for electric wires, then made wooden stakes from 2x4s, pounded them into the wall, and screwed the electric boxes to the butt end of the stake. These stakes were also mounted to kitchen cabinets. I used PEX plumbing in the house, and it's perfect because there are no joints in the wall. If you don't use PEX, plumb through the floor and not the walls. Here we are chopping straw in a leaf mulcher in preparation for plastering the outside of the house. We had a big mud party. First we sifted some clay soil and blew it on with a stucco hopper. With a compressor, it gives the plaster something to bind to. Then we applied the earthen plasters that had been mixed in a mortar mixer. You can toss mud balls at the walls, smush it with your hands, or trowel it with a wooden float. Teamwork is the key, and I was amazed how well everyone worked so well. You'll need scaffolds to reach the upper tarp. We covered the whole house in one day, though I later went back and did a second coat. Here's the team of workers, and boy do I appreciate them. This was about a year after I started, well, a year and a half almost, and I was getting really tired. Here are their hands, and this is still on the side of my house. Volunteers helped me mix the heavy plaster for the floors. It was a combination of high clay soil, mortar sand, and water. A grid of redwood strips to level the floor against rest on top of a base of ABC mixed tamped down. I had to raise the floor 1 foot, if you recall. The earthen floor is only the top inch or so. This is the completed floor in my house. I soaked it with linseed oil and turpentine, then coated it with a solvent-based acrylic floor sealer. It's strong and durable, but soft to bare feet. This is what the house looked like when I got my final permit and was allowed to move the family in, but to us it was a mansion compared to the construction trailer. This is the inspection card with the 23 inspections we passed to get our occupancy permit, and the red is paint, not blood, although partly blood. Here again is the completed house. I spent another 4 years doing all the finish work on the house, but I had a great time working with the earthen plasters. Here are a few examples of what you can do with the clay plasters. You can sculpt them, color them, embed glass or shells, and use your imagination. If you don't like what you did, it's very easy to take it down and do it again. You can see more details on my website, houseofstraw.com. I've been in the house 7 years now. It's sturdy and worth all the hard work. Thanks, and I hope you end up with the new American dream, a simple, energy-efficient house and financial freedom. Have fun.